The Monday update, it's been a batshit day since 8 o'clock this morning. A million notifications, a million jobs, and when we're in the middle of, like, this car's getting a whole driveline rebuild, the drive shaft service, clutch, flywheel, pressure plate kit, all that. It's an 01 or 2, it's an 02. It's got auto lights and an aftermarket Kenwood setup. Full leather car from LA, just east of Los Angeles. And 156K on this guy. Titanium. I don't remember if I showed you this last week or not, but we got it on the lift last week, probably about a week ago now, and we got the exhaust off the car when Kenan was here. Our cars are in here because it's been raining today, annoyingly. And then it's just been sitting here while we work on other stuff. So the 550, it won't start. We think it's a DME coding or programming issue. Apparently you don't have to write a new flash new piece of firmware to the DME. You just need to turn off some checks, and I cannot find anything about that. So we've been trying to get in touch with Alex for a while. He's supposed to be calling me any minute. My car, the M-Tech, with the key in the ignition, the battery went down to 2.2 volts over the weekend and will not hold a charge, will not take a charge. So my dad's out picking up a battery for that now so we can stop pushing it around. The MPI is done. We need to schedule a time with the owner to go over those results and talk about how he wants to proceed with the findings. This is Roger's car. It's back for service from North San Diego County. I think he's somewhere over towards the coast. This is a 2000 carbon black. We had this a while ago for quite a while. We did brakes, a bunch of stuff on it. The full leather sport interior, pretty cool. 06 SW. This time it's struts and springs. It took us... Man, we did this on Edwin's car. Edwin's was a Sterling 02, and it took us more than a day to get the front No, it looks like a day to get the front struts out, another day to get the rear struts out. Then we don't have spring tools here, so they had to be sublet, and that took a few days. And then it was a day to put the front in and a day to put the back in. It sucked. We didn't build nearly enough, and I quoted this guy at the same time. So unfortunately, we're not billing enough here either. But the good news is we got all of the struts out in about 3 hours, which is a huge, huge improvement over what we did last time. Last time, for some reason, we ended up having to undo the rear stabilizer links, which I don't quite understand why. This time we did not need to do that, though they're Billy's, so maybe they're shorter. Had H&Rs all around. He just wants it to sit lower. So you do have to undo the fuel spout up there. That's where you would pump the gas. That has to come out to get the strut off. 2 10mm nuts. That takes a little bit of time. Fender liners on the rear have to come out. That takes some time. On the rear driver's side, you need to remove the charcoal canister and the evaporative tank, whatever that crap is, fuel emissions BS in there. So all that has to come out. It's one nut and some pins and a couple wiring harnesses, and then it drops down. Of course, the fender liner as well. To get to the top nuts in there, you have to really, really disassemble the inside of the car. So you start with the C-pillar lights, and then the C-pillars, the headrests, child safety restraints. Thank God this car has split folds, so you just fold them open and take off that sharp black piece of trim. The side seat panels, rear parcel shelf, and then you can get to the top nuts. So that takes a bunch of time. In the front, it's not too bad up top. It's, the 3 13mm nuts are right there. Then you come down, we have this stuff just hanging on by bungee cords right now to keep stress off the control arm ball joints down here. But you start with taking off the front brake caliper carriers, leave the caliper on the carrier. Then you undo the link from the sway bar. And then you pop the tie rod off, the steering knuckle, and discover that both of those need to be replaced. So I have parts on order. And the links need to be replaced. I have those parts on order. Fender liners can stay. You undo all the brake hardware or undo the electronics for the brakes and ABS sensors so you don't mess anything up. Make sure your brake lines don't get dicked. And there they go. They're out. So they're going down the hill now to the shop who's going to put the Dynon springs on. That's just all we're doing is changing from H&R springs to Dynon springs, which I don't know if it's going to be how much it'll lower, but hey, customer request. So that's what's going on there. We got all of that done today. The 530, I had the instrument cluster fixed, then it broke again. It must not have been done right, or the part was defective, whatever. I sent it out 10 days ago. It took him over a week to get it in New Jersey. It just got sent back to me today. It'll be here late Wednesday. So when we get that, we'll be able to put the cluster back in. Then this car needs an alignment, and we need to test the vapor barriers, see if they're leaking. I put it back on the charger just to ensure that we don't kill the battery in here. So Wow, a lot going on. I've been turning down several service inquiries, which I hate. I really, really don't like turning business away, it's paying business, but not only do we not have the space, we just don't have the manpower and we don't have the time in here. So that is Monday. I'm waiting on this call. It's just 5 o'clock. I'm going to take that call, hopefully when it comes in shortly, and try to get home before 7. Hey, what's up? We're on the Canon. After I bitch about not using it for a while, now we're using it. So I am caught up on the vlogs, and I'm very proud of that. I've been looking at a screen for the past five and 3/4 hours now. It's about midnight here on Monday night. Caught up on the vlogs as of yesterday, and then I've been going through the camera roll. I know I'm old school. Every photo or video I take that I want to keep in my library long term gets airdropped or plug in and imported to the photos library, and then triage, delete about 1/4 of them, keep 3/4 of them. Then I'll crop, adjust color, contrast, etc., tag faces, the places metadata with iPhone pictures. All of that, and then drag and drop them into the proper libraries or into the proper playlists or albums. What are they called? Albums, or I'll make new albums for trips, stuff like that. So I've done with about 3/4 of that over the past, it's been about 6 weeks since I've done that. So still have about 100 photos to go, but I've gotten several hundred done. My eyes hurt, my back hurts. Today's done. It's strut and spring week here at 839 Source. I showed you earlier today at the shop with the Carbon Black 2000. That guy, we had ordered the dine-in parts 5 or 6 weeks ago when he was in there for the rest of the service. They took forever to arrive. Finally, they arrived. He scheduled the next available date, which 3 weeks ago was now. I anticipated that by now we would have the 550 done, we would have the 530 done. I didn't see the 540 coming. I didn't see this other M5 coming. So really, it did not work very well into the schedule, though we were able to do what before took us 2 or 3 days, we were able to do in a few hours today. The negative part is we forgot we have the dine-in ride quality and supplementary handling package kit, whatever, bump stops off of 530. So we're going to have to go in tomorrow morning and drop those off and instruct the shop who has the struts and springs for the sublet to include those as well. The bump stops in the back were really dry. So per customer request, we're going to be installing those. It's just been so long I had forgotten about it. Anyways, we'll get it taken care of. We'll get it done. He wants to pick that car up Thursday morning. Right now, we're kind of looking at a Wednesday delivery. It'll probably turn into Thursday. There's always unforeseen problems. And sometimes putting stuff back together takes longer because it's more precise and you've got to torque things down and stuff like that. And we do that. Most shops don't. It takes time. I'm doing that. I'm too OCD to skip that. Anyways, slow night here tonight. Been working on photos and video. Finished Shameless as a series. That was in the background while I did the work. My dad and Kenan were watching that. I had a grilled cheese and leftovers for dinner. I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Good night.